Hey, and welcome to the Life in a Bookshelf podcast with Beck Mills. Here you will find convos about well-being, about home, and a bunch of book love as well. We chat all things from health hacks to simplifying our home, to decluttering, to mini book reviews for you as well. Let's take this 30-something life head on and start creating a really positive impact in our own lives, in our families, and out into our wider communities. So glad that you're here. Let's jump on in. All right. We're back again. Hope you're having a great one. Today we are talking about something that I've seen a lot this new year, this January of this brand new year, and it is ins and outs for the new year. And you might have done this yourself, whether privately or online or whatever. And you might have seen some people that you follow do it as well. And I thought, this is a really cool trend. I like this. As trendy as ever, I'm about like a month and a bit late to get to it. But if you've been listening along to this little mini series with a twist thing, you'll know that January has been full of lots of reflection, and also a bit of looking forward. And today we're talking about ins and outs in the year. And as we have this conversation today, I would love to hear from you, as always, on the Instagram page. What's in for you this year? What's a big in for you? And what's an out? What are you leaving behind? What are you leaving in 2024? I would love to hear it. So I'm going to chat with you today. I'm going to give you a few that are personally for me, ins and outs. And like I said, I hope it gives you a pause for reflection. I think this is really, really powerful. I did think, I know exactly what's in, I know exactly what's out. And then I went to write it down for this episode and I was like, actually, this is a little bit harder than I thought. And the reason being was a lot of them, I was like, oh yeah, this, and this. And I was like, hold on, no, they were ins last year. So, and I'm like, they're still ins, so that's nothing new. And like, I was just like working through these things and there was a few outs and I was like, oh gosh, I feel like I've been kicking that out of my life for like 10 years. And I'm still going. And I think that's really, really cool though, because we are always works in progress. And that is life. It's learning, it's continuing to learn and open up to new experiences, and it's continuing to shed the things that don't serve us anymore. And I think that takes time. I mean, sometimes it can be really a quick change, but I think the more years we live and the more experiences we have, like sometimes those things are really easy to shed and leave behind in the past year. And sometimes it takes a while for us to get those lessons and really kick that out of our life. So yeah, I'm going to share a few with you today in this mini series. We've got a couple more episodes to go in this new year with a twist thing that we got going on here. So I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope whether you are driving, walking, running, cleaning or whatever at home, or maybe on your way to work, I hope that this conversation sparks something and gets you reflecting and diving into this too. So I was debating, I was like, should I start with the ins or the outs? And I think I'm going to start with the outs. I wrote it ins first, but now that I think about it, I want to start with the outs and we'll just like get that out of the way. First thing, oh my gosh, like I said, I feel like some of these things I've been trying to kick out for like 5 years, 10 years, and it's all good, right? It's all life. And I started getting frustrated at myself. I'm like, I'm still doing this. But I think that's the way it goes. We just gradually, the more years we live, it starts to get easier to kick these things out that aren't serving us. So first one, doubting myself. Oh gosh, let me know if you can relate to this at all. I would love to hear from you. Send me a message. Doubting myself. And you'll see these ins and out lists. Like if you just go on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see like there's thousands of them, right? And some of them are really cool. Like some of them are really specific to a certain area of life. So you could do that if you wanted to give this a try, or you could do it like more broadly. And today I'm talking more broadly. So doubting myself in lots of different areas of life. If you've been listening along, I shared that I'm going to do a 50K in February, and just making the decision to commit to it and to like sign up for the event. And I was just doubting myself so heavy. And I realized when I was saying all this stuff out loud, and I just realized how much I was speaking negatively about my ability to not only to do the event with like obviously with the training, but to figure stuff out, like the logistics for getting there and actually doing the race and then getting back to the hotel. Like I just doubted myself, and I had to I literally like talk to myself. I was becoming aware of what I was saying, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm doing this again. And that really pulled me out of it. So that was good. But yeah, I am leaving that out of 2025. And I know that it's not going to be perfect. And I know that there's still going to be doubts that come up, especially because I'm committing to doing more scary stuff in 2025. Uh, but I'm hoping to catch it a lot quicker if it does come up, because I figured stuff out. Even though I was so heavily doubting myself, I committed and I figured it out, and I'm figuring it out. And I think gathering that evidence in your life is so important for those things that you want to kick out of your life. Like, when do they creep in? Like, when do these things creep into your life? Is it when you're out of your comfort zone? Is it when you are uncertain about an outcome? Is it, like whatever it might be? And just catching yourself in those moments and going, oh, I'm doing it again. I think that's like the first step to getting rid of it and kicking it out of your life. So doubting myself, oh gosh, that is out, out, out. Now I'm going to make this quite brief. Number 2 is taking things personally. Now, let me know if you can relate to this one. I think in some ways we all can or have. This is something that I've carried with me for as long as I can remember. So there you go. And it really started standing out to me over the past month. I've been reading The Let Them Theory, which is by Mel Robbins. And if you haven't read it, holy dooly, it's like, in a lot of ways, it's a lot of really awesome reminders. But it's also, the way she talks about it is like, oh gosh, like it's just like a whole new perspective on it as well. And if you haven't already read it or listened to the audiobook, do yourself a favor and make this a must read for 2025. And so taking things personally is something that I've carried with me, and this book is like really helping me open my eyes to it and how much of what goes on that I take personally. So I am leaving that behind. I am working on that this year and kicking that out of my life. There's so much that goes on in our everyday, every week, every year, whatever it is, every month, every minute. And just over the years, taking things personally that have nothing to do with us and everything to do with essentially someone else's experiences, takes its toll, and it is tiring. And I am over it. So that's something I'm leaving behind. Let me know if you can relate. Number 3, overanalyzing, overthinking. This sort of goes into the doubting myself category. And I am leaving it behind. I'm kicking it out of 2025 from now on. And if I see something and it scares me a bit, that's a pretty good indication. I'm like, so it's like triggering something in me a little bit. Maybe it's a new experience or something that I've never tried before. It would be completely out of the comfort zone. And if I find myself, I'm still thinking about it, I'm researching it, I keep hearing about this on books or podcasts or reading it somewhere, instead of over-analyzing, overthinking, get curious, look it up, research it, what it is. And if I cannot stop thinking about it and I'm still thinking about it and looking at it after like, it should be a couple of days, but probably like a week I'm going to give myself, then I'm going to do something about it and I'm going to make a decision. Is it a yes? Is it a no? And then because I know now that I'm going to figure out the details, I'm going to figure out the logistics. And it's, that's not going to be a problem. I'll figure it out. Then I'm going to allow that to happen this year. And I know at the moment it seems easier said than done. And yes, overanalyzing, overthinking stuff has always been, for as long as I can remember, being with me. So I'm really looking forward to kicking that to the curb and really trusting myself, I think, is a big one there. So that's number 3. And number 4 is a big one. And this one, I feel like, again, I feel like it's always been there as long as I can remember, but making decisions. So this is an out, making decisions based on other people's expectations of me and not of what's right for me right now. So making decisions based on others' expectations of me, not making decisions on what's right for me right now. And I want to just kick that to the curb and kick that out. And again, I know it's going to be a process, but I'm looking forward to not letting that rule the decisions that I make through the year. And I think that that's really, really powerful. And again, reading the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins, I feel is like that's come to a head and made it really clear for me how much that has gone on in the past. And I'm committing to making better decisions. So that's my out list. I would love to hear a couple of your outs and your ins, or all of them if you want to share them with me. Just message me. Ins. Let's work to the ins. Okay. This is going to be fun. So, in simplicity. Number 1, simplicity. I love that word. It just makes me feel calm, even though it's not always evident, in my life, at home, all the things. But I love simplicity in its most simple form. And I want to bring a lot more of that into 2025. In particular, the office, home, activities. I say that now. And just really, simplify, because that, I guess what it stands for me is more peace in the day to day and less stress, essentially. So more simplicity. Yes, please. Okay, number 2, doing scary shit. If you've been following along in this mini series, New Year twisty thing that we're doing, into doing more scary shit this year. So stay tuned, because I'm sure I'll be sharing about this throughout the year. And I would love to hear if you've got some big goals, big plans, some scary stuff on the horizon. Let me know. I think there's something very life affirming about doing things that scare the bejesus out of us. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm not going to commit to doing something every month. That scares me, although that'd be quite cool. I am going to be open to the possibilities and the opportunities. Let Them theory that I've talked about already 3 times is in this year, is in. Like I said, do yourself a favor, get the book, get the audio book, share it with your loved ones, with your friends. It is an amazing book, and I feel like it's going to bring so much peace this year, which is great, and simplicity. Yay. So number 4, strength, is an in this year. If you caught the first episode of this little mini series, my new word of the year for 2025 is strong. So strength is in all sense of the words, mind, body, that connection. It's all happening. Number 5 is new experiences, and I've put that there separate to doing scary shit because I want to experience new things with my family in particular, and friends, of course. But yeah, I really wanted to bring that into 2025. And number 6, taking the optimistic route. We have more ins than outs. There you go. But just about matched. Doesn't matter how many you have. Number 6, did I say? Maybe. Is goal setting, which, is always a big part of my life in general, but the specific type of goal setting that I would like to bring into 2025 is not so much like SMART goals are very, very helpful for sure. And we've all heard of SMART goals, right? Actually, I might do a whole episode on goals. Might do that next as like a wrap up to our little mini series. I think that'll be good. Like big goals that we have and navigating them. We'll do that next. Anyway, so the type of goals, yeah, I like SMART goals, but I also like big picture goals for a certain reason. I'll dive more into that next episode. So this doesn't get too long. But really with the goals is not just having them up in my head, writing them out regularly, putting them where I can see them. These are going to make big differences in achieving them. So research shows, I don't know the exact percentages, but I could look it up. I should have looked it up before this. I'll look it up for the next episode. How about that? But like huge increases in percentages of achieving goals if we are writing them out regularly and if we are seeing them regularly, visually. So that's this year for sure. That's a big, big, big in, and not just talking about them in my head. So yeah, I think that'll be a nice way to wrap up our little mini series. I'll do that next episode. Let's call it Big Goals and Big Girl Panties. I like it. So that's it for today. Go ahead over to Instagram, give me a message. What have you got in and what have you got out for this brand new year? Now, well, we're now in February, but that's okay. It's still pretty new. I would love to hear it. That's all for today. I will catch you soon. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead, hit that follow button wherever you listen to your podcast. And I would super, super duper appreciate it if you leave a 5-star rating on Spotify. What this does is it helps others like yourself to discover the podcast more easily and enjoy the episodes. I appreciate it so, so much. Have a wonderful day. You absolutely deserve it. We'll see you next time.